Today, my name is Mitch and I'm presenting for our group. Our title is The Price of Oil Now and Then, and as you can see, this is the people in our group. So I got a joke for you guys. The U.S. running out of oil. So my 3 points today's topic are going to be the oil prices of yesterday, the oil prices today, and the oil prices of tomorrow. So to start off, we have the oil prices in the past. As you may know, oil prices used to be over $100 a barrel, which was ridiculous, and then people were paying up to $4 a gallon, and even in like crowded cities like New York City, which I visited one time, they had gas over $5 there, which was insane. And a lot of it was because of supply. Supply and demand is one of the most important things that lead oil prices up and down. And the U.S. used to not be able to produce enough oil, so they had to import a majority of their oil. And that's because shale technology had not advanced far enough as it is today. A lot of unconventional drilling led to lower prices, which is going to get us into our next slide. We started fracking. That's one of the major things that helped lead us in. It's like supply and demand, like I was saying. The more supply that we had, the lower the oil prices could go. And because we started fracking and exploring more shale technologies, we were able to start producing more oil at the U.S. level. So that started lowering prices down to about $40 to $50 a barrel, which in the eyes of the oil companies is insane, but for the consumers who are wanting to put some more money back in their pockets, it was great. You'd be able to go to the gas pump, and I remember going to the Circle K and being able to fill up my tank for $1.75 a gallon, and someplace back home in Florida it was $2 a gallon. So China and the U.S. are two of the biggest producers of oil or purchasers of oil. So when the U.S. stopped purchasing as much because they started having more domestic oil, it was a lot easier for them to lower prices. And then if you look at OPEC, which over in the Middle East, which is a lot of the OPEC members are, they left oil prices as it is. They didn't cut their production, which meant that they didn't stop producing as much as they were. They kept producing just as much, but the U.S. kept producing even more. So that started lowering the prices down of barrels of oil. So we're going to move on to the next slide now. A lot of people are very concerned about the future of the oil industry, especially us as petroleum engineers. We should stay very up to date with our geopolitical events that are going on and the future of our industry. So one of the major things that we came up with and found while we were doing our research is that because the U.S., this is such a new technology, shale is such a new technology, is that people don't really truly know exactly what they're doing with it. So we have so much shale on the state side that at one point we could eventually start exporting our oil, which would boost our economy enormously. If you look how great like Saudi Arabia and things like that do by exporting their oil and how much prosperity it brings into their country. There are many factors that would have to lead into that. Number one, we'd have to first off advance in technology and find out new ways, which us as engineers, I believe that we can definitely do with the bright minds that we have coming into the industry, as well as the embargo acts. That has to be overturned or lifted because people were afraid that we would run out of oil, but now we have so much domestic oil that that's not really a problem anymore. A lot of companies are starting to invest in the U.S. and start turning a lot of the ports that were meant to import oil into starting getting ready to export oil, which is crazy to think that you talk to some of the older people in the industry and they never thought that this would ever be possible. But some people fear that shale production could come to a halt, but that would be more temporary because shale production right now, it may come to a halt for a lot of the smaller companies which invested a lot of money into the new shale technology, but now because oil price is so low, it's not profitable for them to still drill that oil. So a lot of the bigger companies like Exxon and Mobil will probably come on and buy up those once and resume production. And as long as people keep producing as much as there are, like smaller countries like Venezuela and things like that are starting to do production a lot, like the U.S. is, that could sustain global oil prices and keep them low. It's pretty amazing how you go from $100 a barrel to about $40 a barrel, and $4 to $2 at the pump. It's crazy how that things happen, but that's how the oil industry is, and it goes really fast, up and downs and things like that. But the future of the oil industry looks really well, and the oil prices are being constantly affected by supply and demand, and it's something to look forward to in the future.